Welcome to VIP Auto, where we strip away the noise and focus on the details that make a car legendary. Today we're spending time with the 2026 Rolls-Royce Phantom Long. Glossy black, utterly composed, and tuned for a level of quiet that feels like a private concert. This is not a regular review. This is a measured walkthrough of presence, craft, and the V12 whisper that turns movement into ceremony. Start with the stance. From a distance, the Phantom Long reads like a sculpture. An elongated hood, a stoic grille, and a glass house that keeps proportion, even with the stretched rear. Up close, the paintwork matters. Not just color, but finish. This glossy black version reflects the room like a lacquered panel. You can see the showroom lights, the ceiling grids, and the polished tiles roll across the body in soft bands. That finish is part of the language here. Rolls-Royce paints cars to look like objects of art, and in black that effect becomes nearly cinematic. The proportions are deliberate. The extended wheelbase isn't a marketing line, it's an experience. Rear passengers get theatrical amounts of legroom and elbow space. The long silhouette allows designers to craft a rear cabin that behaves like a private lounge. That space is the heart of the Phantom Long's brief. Not to be fastest, but to be most refined. It's the difference between a stage and a nightclub. One is about performance, the other about how you feel while being carried. Materials set the tone. Leather that's been hand-selected for texture, veneers that read like wood panels in a private study, and stitchwork that's a visual rhythm. Rolls-Royce uses materials the way a couture house uses fabrics. Every seam and every margin is an opportunity to reinforce calm. The headliner treatments, the embroidered details, and the optional starlight roof combine to make the ceiling feel like a night sky, not just a shell above your head. When you close the door, the air feels thicker with intention, heavier in a very precise way. Under the skin is the V12, engineered to move mass with ease and to remain discreet. This engine is not a shout. It is a murmur at idle and a controlled, confident surge when asked to accelerate. The gearbox shifts in near silence, and the calibration of throttle response is all about smoothness. You'll get acceleration that feels effortless, like a curtain being drawn, never a drumbeat. The suspension architecture is tuned to damp and isolate input rather than telegraph it. In practice, that means undulations in the road become background texture rather than headline events. Tech is present, but intentionally restrained. Screens are integrated into the narrative rather than dominating it. The control surfaces are tactile. Knobs and switches are placed where they make sense ergonomically, and the software layers are quiet helpers rather than attention-hogging features. Sound systems are tuned as if for a salon. Richness without aggression. Clarity that makes voice and instrument sound right. Active noise cancellation, laminated acoustic glass, and structural engineering work together, so the cabin is an acoustic bubble. Now let's walk the entry ritual. The door opens with soft close mechanics. The sill height is engineered for dignity. The step-in is closer to a private theater than a sedan. The vista from the rear seat is composed. Long bonnet, stately hood ornament, and windows framing the outside world in a way that preserves passenger privacy. Rear amenities range from reclining seats to cooled compartments and deployable work surfaces, each element tuned to be useful and to feel deliberate. Craft customization turns this car from object to commission. Buyers have access to veneers, custom embroidery, and finishes that can take months to realize. That means two things. One, the Phantom Long can be exactly what a dedicated owner imagines. And two, the build process itself is part of the prestige. That level of personalization translates directly into how the car feels in person. Materials that arrived as samples become a lived-in environment that tells a story about the owner's taste, history, and lifestyle. Let's talk driving manners in plain terms. This is a cruiser, not a cutter. The steering is heavy and precise, designed for deliberate lane changes and stabilized highway behavior rather than jittery corner carving. The brakes are assured. They modulate weight in a way that feels mechanical and certain, not abrupt. If you've ever been driven in a Rolls-Royce, you know the sensation. Motion that's so refined you forget the speed, until you glance out and see the road sliding past. The Phantom Long does that with cinematic authority. Practical daily notes. Servicing a car at this level is a different relationship than a mass-market vehicle. Service networks are specialized, parts and labor reflect bespoke detail, and the expectations for maintenance are therefore elevated. For owners, that's part of the ownership story. It isn't a commodity, it's stewardship. Now, and this is important, think about presence versus performance. The Phantom Long's identity is built on silence, on the way it arrives in a room. In a market that includes high-performance limousines and tech-packed sedans, Rolls-Royce chooses to orient around ceremony and calm. That choice affects everything from sound insulation levels to how the suspension is valved. It's a coherent design statement, and it's one that attracts a particular buyer profile. Midpoint engagement. We want your voice on this. With all that bespoke luxury and the V12 hush, would you choose chauffeur-driven comfort or driver-focused control? Comment below your thoughts. Back on visuals. Details to pay attention to when you see this car in person. Look at panel gaps. Rolls-Royce tolerances are tight, and reflections will show any deviation. Check the grain direction on wood veneers. Those are often book-matched to create a continuous ribbon of pattern. Sit in the rear and test the recline. It should offer a seamless transition from upright to near lounge position without mechanical brusqueness. Open the glove boxes and compartments. Mechanisms should be damped and thoughtful. These small checks tell you whether a particular example meets the marque's standard. Options that matter in day-to-day use include rear seat refrigeration, a small convenience that feels luxurious, integrated privacy partitions for true separation of driver and passenger spaces, and the Starlight headliner if you want an atmospheric ceiling. Spec choices like adaptive suspension tuning or enhanced noise cancellation packages materially change the character of the ride. If you're commissioning a car, prioritize items you will actually use. Some bespoke features are joyful curiosities, but add little to daily comfort. Price context is simple to summarize. This is an exclusive category where base figures are only a starting point. Bespoke choices, personalization, and unique commissions push values much higher. And the final figure is as much a reflection of taste as of specification. For buyers, that means a careful decision process. Are you buying a status symbol, a comfort sanctuary, or a rolling canvas for artistic expression? The Phantom Long is capable of being all three, but the cost of making it yours will vary accordingly. Ownership considerations extend beyond initial purchase. Insurance, secure storage, and long-term maintenance budgets must be planned. The exclusivity of the car changes how you think about usage. Many buyers shift toward curated mileage and professional drivers to preserve condition. If resale is a factor, consider limiting extreme personalization that narrows future buyers' tastes. A quick note on alternatives and comparisons. The Phantom Long sits apart even among high-end rivals. Competitors may offer sharper handling or more overt tech, but few match the combined effect of scale, material depth, and silence. If you prioritize tactile luxury and presence over lap times and infotainment headlines, this car is in a class of its own. Final takeaways to anchor your view. The 2026 Rolls-Royce Phantom Long is about being carried, not pushed. It's a statement of intent for owners who prefer composition to commotion. The glossy black finish amplifies that message. Understated, reflective, and elegant. This is a vehicle built around rituals. The way it approaches, the way a door closes, the way a rear cabin delivers privacy. Those rituals are why patrons commission these cars. If you're deciding whether a Phantom Long should be part of your garage, ask yourself what you value most: absolute calm and presence, or interactive performance and driver involvement. There's no right or wrong, just distinct lifestyles. If quiet authority and bespoke craft matter to you, the Phantom Long delivers in full. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe for more VIP auto exclusives.